Hello, everyone. We are happy to greet you at the new episode at our YouTube channel. And at this channel, we talk about love, we talk about relationship, about international dating in particular. And today, together with the executive director of Diolli.com boutique matchmaking agency, we will speak about the red flags when you start dating someone new. I believe I have already filmed several videos about this topic, and I will share the links with you below this video. If you're interested to learn more about this topic, I strongly recommend you to watch all the videos. But today, together with Katerina, we will try to discuss perhaps new red flags, or nowadays is also quite popular to name so-called pink flags when you start dating someone new. And of course, I will share with you dating stories with new examples. So I believe it will be an interesting discussion. And I think I have forgotten to introduce myself. My name is Svetlana Mucha. I'm the founder and the lead matchmaker at Diolli.com. I'm the published author of several books about dating and relationship. And today, my book number 4 in Russian and Ukrainian language has left the publishing house. It is called Nothing Personal, Just Marriage. And hopefully we will get it translated into English too. But if you read Russian and Ukrainian, very soon I will also share links for Amazon and for Google Books, or you can order a paperback if you're located in Europe. Anyway, Katerina, let's jump into our topic. Red flags when you start dating someone new. As an executive director of, I believe, 8 or is it 9 years already at the real boutique matchmaking service, you have seen so many first dates, so many second dates, so many relationship blossoming and unfortunately failing. When it comes to the red flags, the first red flag that comes up into your mind.
First of all, hello everyone. I'm also happy to film this new episode for you, and I hope it will be as interesting as always, because I'm sure that our subscribers already know that we always try to bring up very interesting topic and useful topics. And today we are talking about red flags when you meet a new person. And you know, when I think about this topic, I also remember that we have many videos already about it, and we often discuss this topic. But I don't know why, but the first thing that comes into my mind when I think about red flags, it's an endless rescheduling. So what I mean in this red flag, so what is it about? So you're meeting a new person, you don't know each other well yet. For example, you have met in social media, or maybe you just came and starts a conversation with a lady whom you like in a cafe or somewhere. You change the phone numbers, and after that,
exchanged.
Exchange, yes, exchange, yes. And yes, no change to give
Hopefully
someone.
she won't change the phone number after she has given it to you.
Yes, it's a good idea to change your phone number once you give it to someone else. Of course, you exchange the phone numbers. After that, you start texting, or maybe you call each other, and you try to schedule, you invite a lady on a date, so elsewhere you have met for the first time. You want to meet, and here the problems start. You can't schedule any exact day and time how can you meet. So it's for example, you have scheduled that it is Saturday evening, but out of a sudden, one day before, she tries to reschedule it, and it is repeated, not one time. Of course, we're all human beings, and it can be that when we schedule something serious can happen, or just we changed our plans. But when it is repeating, when you try and you show your interest, you always offer exact day, time, but every time you face with the problem that you can't reschedule, you can't schedule anything. So every every option that you offer to her ends up like rescheduling and endless rescheduling. So it can show that you understand, you can put yourself on her place if you're interested, if you want to communicate date with the person if you want to meet and to see how it goes and where it can lead. You will put it at least as not number one priority, but at least some priority for you, and you will find an opportunity, time, day, how you can meet. So when it is repeating, when she can't find any time, any possibility to meet with you, it is red flag, and you have to think maybe she's not so interested like you thought, or like she made in the first impression.
I want to add something because, well, life happens. I have, for example, I live in Germany now, and it's really such a pain to get an appointment to see the dentist. You have to do it like 2 months, 3 months beforehand, and they had just called me before we have started filming this video, telling me that they unfortunately had to reschedule me, and now I have my appointment in late October. So it's like, well, I have been waiting for a few months to get my appointment, but they had an emergency, and well, life happens. So if for whatever reason, for example, you have scheduled a date and the lady tells you that, you know what, something came up, like your babysitter has canceled the last moment. For example, she had a really nasty flu and she feels sick. And you know what, if you are talking about the first and second date, you have just one chance to make this first impression, and of course you want to make it count. For example, something happened. I remember one of our female clients, she has scratched her car, and that was a new car, and she was so upset, and in that mood it was not the right mood to go out on a date. So life happens. If, for example, it was a one-time situation and you can tell that, well, she is sorry and she kindly asks you to reschedule, and she suggests the other date when you are meeting, for example, for whatever reason she can't meet this Wednesday, but let's meet up like Friday or on Saturday. She suggests the time. It's not like the red flag, or it's not a direction that you have to cancel because she's not serious, she's not interested. Life happens. So it is important to be logical. But if, for example, like you have mentioned, she keeps rescheduling and no obvious reason, like, you know what, I'm just really busy doing what? So if there is no exact reason why she is rescheduling, then of course it's a good idea to stop investing your time and your efforts into this communication. But again, because nowadays people, they so quickly label like, that's the red flag, or this is the red flag. Well, she has rescheduled the date because she felt sick. For example, you remember the situation, the lady, like the pipe in her house has broken. Not a very pleasant experience, and she had to reschedule. Life happens, unfortunately. But I agree with you, if she keeps rescheduling and she can't find the time, I remember that woman on a day, she has actually taken out her notebook and has started like flipping through pages and telling the gentleman that, see how busy I am. I have Pilates, I have English classes, I have my clients, I have meeting with the ladies. So I don't know when we will be able to meet. So this is the signal that she's not into you, or she's not really smart, like whatever. Okay, so we have endless rescheduling at the red flag number 1. I will suggest the red flag number 2. Imagine that you are on the second or on the third or even on the fourth date, and your date starts telling you that, I love you. You're nothing like all the men I have met before. You're so special. You're precious. You're so handsome. When I'm with you, I feel like a real woman or whatever. So she keeps, or he keeps proclaiming his or her love to you, and you know each other like for like 6 or 7 hours in total. Like this is the second or the third date. So this is a huge red flag. Katerina, do you agree with me? Or do you think
Yes.
that on the fourth date, people can be madly in love and I know nothing about romance?
No, of course, I absolutely agree. you. And really, when people tell about their feelings so early, when they didn't even have an opportunity to get to know you better, so of course it doesn't look serious. Because to say, especially if we are not a teenagers, when we are so young that we are 12, 13, that the boy who brought you the silver ring on your birthday, and you feel that you are in love with him, or
The ring
for
that
example,
his mother bought for
yes,
him to present to a girl
yes,
because
of course.
she's friends with your mother.
Yeah, so of course, in those times when we are teenagers, feelings, they are very easy. They are so, these emotions, they are so, um, like, like a sky, you can appear in them so fast, and it's so easy. Everything goes so smoothly. And of course, today you can feel that you are in love with Anna, tomorrow maybe this is Maria, and so on. So the lady who put on, the girl who put on the most beautiful dress when she went to the kindergarten, all the boys were in love with her at that day, at that exact day. So of course, when we are talking about adults, when we already grown ups, and we understand that love is not just about romance, or not just about so easy things. It includes complex of different feelings, of different emotions, of different impressions, of different experience. So of course, if a person who doesn't know you at all is telling you on the third date that I'm in love with you, you are the best man whom I ever met, and so on, so on. So mostly she's saying it to make the exact impression, because we want to be likable. We want all people to like us, to love us. And what is she doing by telling you about her feelings? She's just buying you in exact way, not for money, but for emotions. She's
With
giving you.
flattery. She's buying you with flattery.
Yes, yes. So she's giving you that the easiest way to feel yourself unique. So I'm in love with you. You are the best man. So you are sitting and feeling your uniqueness. And it's not a secret that usually we don't love the person in front of us. We love our feeling when we are beside that person. So you understand that you're so inspired when you are with this lady. So she's already loving you. You want to give her more because she's telling you so straight about her feelings. So of course, she's very cunning if she's doing it. So she knows why she's doing it. So of course, for sure, it's a red flag. If you understand that even you are sitting on the date, even if she's extremely beautiful, but even you understand that it is too early to be in love with that lady. So she didn't do anything special, and I don't see anything special in her, even if she's so beautiful. But we are not talking about love. You can be physically attracted, you can have different feelings, but to speak about love or something else, of course, it's too early. And definitely it's a red flag. And she's doing it to because she has her own goals why she's doing it. So she wants to get her goal, and later on, if you keep keep looking at her, and keep looking at her behavior, you will understand which goal she had when she was doing it.
You know what? I was thinking about this joke when a man tells to a lady that, you know what, there is a special story that has helped me to pick up all the women and to win their hearts. But I know that you won't fall for the story because you're not like the other girls. You're so special. You're so smart. You're so sweet. You're truly one of a kind. So, ladies and gentlemen, if your date on the date number 2, 3, or 5 keeps telling you that you're not like the other women, you're unique, you're precious, gorgeous, I'm in love with you, it's a huge red flag. Because probably this same person was telling the same story to all the Tinder dates he or she had the other week, or maybe earlier the same day or the same night, you never know. Katerina, so we have two red flags: endless reshuttling, then we have proclaiming your feelings too early, and having all this unrestricted flattery. what will be your third red flag when you start dating someone new?
I would say that the third flag, I would name it like very
A red
limited.
flag.
Red flag, yes. I will say that it is a very limited information.
What do you mean?
I will explain now. When you start discussing some topics like not very something very strange or deep, like where she's working, what is her profession, what kind of education she got, and like mostly what people discuss when they meet, you understand that all the information that she's given to you, it is very limited and it's not personal. So if she is a doctor, then she's working in some hospital. When you start asking her some questions that give you more information about it, she's always changing the topic. So it looks like she doesn't want you to know more information about her. So where she was studying, where she's living. Of course, I'm not asking about the exact address. Of course, it looks very strange when it's also important information for you to know, that don't ask so personal questions like where do you
Katerina,
live.
I want to contradict you, and maybe you will give an example to contradict my question, my observation. Now, some gentlemen can tell that, okay, we had 2 dates, and I still don't know a thing about her divorce, or she didn't talk much about her career. For example, she never mentioned why she has never been married, and she's like, for example, 35. Why didn't men want to date her? So sometimes people want to hear particular information. And for example, this particular question is a little bit insensitive, or they ask this question too early in communication, like on the first date. Not all people will be open to talk about, for example, past experiences, divorces. For example, if she has a successful career, she's a CEO of the company, or she runs her own business, she doesn't want to tell that okay, she is like the top manager at a big company, because she's afraid that a reaction will be like the focus would be on her professional achievements, and for example, not her personality, not how beautiful she is, but how successful she is, or vice versa. Not how smart and witty he is, but how successful and how much money he makes. So sometimes people, they try to keep this information to themselves, to see, for example, if they like their dating partner enough to, for example, share it, if there is much sense to share it. So what do you have to contradict?
I would say I absolutely agree with you that yes, some topics they can be first of all very sensitive to discuss it too early, and really some people, because of different reasons, they don't want to touch, for example, the topic of their profession, how successful they are, some personal topics like divorce, children from previous marriage, and some topics. But usually such people, they have the exact topics that are sensitive for them, or they think that they are too early to discuss. But when you're discussing something else, they will anyway give you some information about them. Then you discuss hobbies, and they will be more open on this topic. I meant limited information in general. When you start to to paint for yourself the portrait of this person, you understand that there is nothing specific that you can put into this portrait. So you don't know anything. Don't know about profession, about education, about hobbies, about free time, vacations,
Katerina,
friends.
if we're talking about the first or the second date, it also can mean that you are a very bad listener. For example, you have manipulated the conversation, and you have shared everything about like your high school, college, which MBA program you did, where have you worked since 2005 and till, for example, 2023. But while sharing all this, your date didn't have a chance to actually share anything about himself or herself.
Of course, so
Because
now we are talking.
we have heard about such dates, and we hear about such dates quite often, when the gentleman has shared all biography, including like his grandparents, the achievements and success, but he didn't ask a single question about the lady and her profession, for example, her family, her background.
It's too extremal, of course, example. And really, to be honest, if it was the date number one, then probably you will not have the date number two, because when it's only like one player game and the other person is just sitting
And
in
then
a
the
list.
gentleman gives her the feedback that, oh, she didn't share any information about herself. And the lady tells that, well, it was like a non-stop monologue and praising his achievements, how cool he is, how successful he is, how smart he is, like, look at me type of a guy.
To be honest, I don't think that this type of a guy will look for red flags in general. So this topic that it's not for him. So if he is so concentrated
in his behavior, no, but in the behavior of his dates, sure. Like, she didn't share anything about herself. Why didn't she? She hides something.
Of course, there are some extremal examples, but we are talking in general. And of course, and to be honest, it would be the red flag number something when you understand that another person doesn't remember anything that you have shared about yourself. So it will be also the red flag number, some number. So, but in general, if it was if you had several dates with the person, if you had normal conversations, you were communicating, but it was a dialogue, not monologue, when you communicated. But after that, after several dates, so usually, after the first date, we don't try to look for red flags. So concentrated. We are not so concentrated on them, because we understand that now it's too early to make any conclusions. I need to communicate with the person further and to understand how it goes. And later on, when you understand that you are interested, you try to look for red flags and to understand if you had real red flags, because you're interested to continue and you want to understand that another person is on the same page with you. So of course you're looking for red flags not in the very beginning, not on the first date, but later when you understand that you have had already several dates with that person and they were different dates. So once you meet in the restaurant, then you had a walk in the park, maybe you went to the cinema, you played bowling, so you had some activities, you had several meals together when you were sitting and talking. And even after that, you understand that there is no exact information that you know about this person. So mostly you are making jokes, you are discussing some movie that you have seen. So all the topics, they are so casual and so funny that you understand that you don't know anything about that
I would
person.
say that maybe it is a red flag that you should ask some questions, because sometimes people, they feel too shy to talk about themselves. And well, she, especially if you're talking about the Eastern European woman, she waits for you to ask questions. And for example, the gentleman here believe that the fact that she is not, for example, sharing, like, boasting with all her achievements, it means that she doesn't have these achievements, or she is hiding something. Like, ask questions. But if I think I understand where you're going with this. If you have been asking questions and she is ignoring your questions, or she keeps joking and not answering them, not in a flirty way, because when you flirt, well, yes, this is what you actually have to do on a date: flirt, not just exchange questions and pieces of information about and facts from your biographies. And so it is important to ask questions. I would say that it is very tricky. I actually want to share the next red flag, which I was inspired to by your red flag, and I believe we should discuss them as a couple because they are related. Like, too much information. When a person gives you too much information on the first date, too much unnecessary information, I would say that this is not a red flag per se, but maybe a signal that this person is either too stressed and he or she is nervous. This is the first experience, and this is why she's talking right now about her school teachers. She doesn't know what to talk about on a date. She feels nervous. And this is a signal that you have to joke about something to make this atmosphere lighter. You can tell that, you know what, I also feel nervous, because it's not like I'm a frequent dater. I'm not a serial dater. want to meet someone, but I'm not a kind of person who goes out every weekend or every evening. And also, what too much information can mean, that a person is a little bit arrogant or too arrogant, and he or she is not paying too much attention how you feel. And actually, for many ladies, this will be a red flag that, for example, you're having a date and the whole date it's about you, and you keep talking about your business, about your career, about your fancy apartment, about your hobbies, about your parents, siblings, etc. So it's all about you. And for her, it can be a signal that, okay, he is already in love. He is in love with himself. So it doesn't make much sense to go out with him. So for her, it can be a red flag not to meet you again. So you can pay attention whether you're the kind of a person who either gives too little information during the date or who gives too much information during the date.
Yes, I agree with you. If your date is looking like, nowadays such type of a concert is very popular, like stand up. Yes, so usually in comedy clubs, you can see and watch that type of concert when stand up, when one person is standing on the scene and continue talking about his jokes about himself. So if you date,
Katerina, but I can't call it really a red flag. So I would say, like endless resettling, that's a red flag. Red flag. Proclaiming love and endless flattery, that's a red flag. I would say that giving too much information and giving too little information, this can count more as dating mistakes, which are quite popular and quite nasty because it can ruin the impression. And you should look at it specifically. But usually the fact that, for example, the person is talking way too much, it doesn't mean that this person is toxic or not serious. It can mean that he's just arrogant. And he's so self-absorbed that he is not paying attention to his date. And of course, it is a signal to a lady. Do I want to date someone arrogant or not? Or for example, a person is timid and doesn't feel comfortable to talk about himself or herself too much because he's not a kind of a person, or she's not a kind of a person who is used to this, being in the spotlight, to be like the center of attention. So I would say that we have slightly changed our topic and we went into a slightly different direction. Do you agree with me or not? Or do you insist that these are red flags?
To be honest, about information, I would put it as a red flag because what I meant about this red flag is that if you have a good quality communication, like you, in your opinion, it is like that, especially if you're seriously oriented, if you want to build relationship, then of course, yes, the first date, the second date, they can be very stressful, and it can be that the person in front of you is sitting in silence or is talking too much, so it can be because of nerves, so that's for sure. But when you communicate further, when you have more dates, you try to get to know that person, so you're interested in that person, to get to know her, and that's why you're asking questions on different topics. Of course, you're not only concentrated on profession and 2 hours of
Katerina, but again, it doesn't mean that the partner, like the lady, she is a bad person. It can mean that she's not interested. So it's not the red flag that you shouldn't date this person. No, it's the signal that she is just not interested. So why to tell him anything if, for example, he has lied about his height and he is not 1 meter and 86 centimeters as it was written in his profile. He hardly like reaches her shoulder, and she felt that she's towering over him, because usually guys lie about their height, sometimes about their age as well.
Yes, the other question, why she's keep going on the dates with him, if she thinks that he is lying to her about many
No,
things.
I'm talking about the first date.
The first date, of course, yes. The first date, if she's not talking about herself, it's not a red flag for sure, because maybe she doesn't know you enough.
Katerina, but the red flag, the signal that you shouldn't proceed dating this lady.
After the first date.
Yes, for example, you had first or second or third date, or like first 5 dates. What is like the strong indicator, like the really big red flag that you shouldn't continue courting her?
Okay, then I would say that it is something that you will notice from the first dates, even on the first date, I think, that if she's trying to choose everything very fancy, so she wants to go the most expensive to the most expensive restaurant. If you order her a taxi to take her home, she wants to go only by the most expensive business class. So she's trying to to take it all from the date with you. So she's ordering, she keeps ordering everything the most expensive in the
There
main.
can be exceptions. For example, you're 64 and she's 35 and she went
Oh,
out on a date with you. Or for example, you're 45 and she's 22 and she went out on a date with you. Then, of course, you have to understand that when we are talking about such a huge age difference, the type of women that will be open to date a man who's the same age or even older than her parents, her own parents, she will have certain expectations. So if you don't want to be a sugar daddy, or for example, if you are not looking for a trophy wife, you can't afford to have a trophy wife, then I'm afraid you will have to settle, as some men call it, to someone more age appropriate, because these huge age gaps, they come with the territory. So you can't just expect that a 35 years old woman is interested in 62 years old man, because he has this distinguished memories how the Soviet Union has collapsed. For example, because he has been to U2 concerts in 1987 and she was just born that year or a year after. So no, not because of that. I agree with you. Or for example, a man chooses a lady who has a really glamorous profile. So you can see, you have met, let's assume, on Instagram, and she wears designer clothes. She has photos on yachts and business class. So she shows off her lifestyle. We don't know how she got there. Maybe she has rich parents. Maybe she is successful, rich ex-boyfriend, husband. It doesn't matter. But she shows you what type of courtship, what types of life she already has, and what she is expecting. And to expect that, okay, this really glamorous woman, just because you like her body or you like her face, or you like everything about her, how she shows it in pictures, doesn't mean that she will settle for a guy who, for example, can't afford the lifestyle that she is showing on on that Instagram.
Yes, so I would say that she's taking you to she chooses everything very fancy, and an exception to this if you have a huge age difference, or if it is a type of her lifestyle. So if you see that it is something she got used to, it's not something extraordinary for her. So she's living like that. So it is part of her life. So of course, because of you, she will not change it to have with you 1 or 2 dates. Then yes, if we are talking about these two exceptions, but in general, if she's choosing everything fancy, then it should be a red flag for you.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And if the lady, for example, suggests to meet only in this restaurant, why? Well, it will make sense if, for example, you are planning a lunch date and she tells you that she works in the office building near this restaurant. For example, she knows this area and this is like the best place because it is quiet, because it is not overcrowded, and they serve like great sushi, and she likes sushi. For example, they have a good salad selection. And then it makes sense because it's logical. She works in the same building and you're meeting for lunch. She won't be able to get into another part of city. But if there is no exact reason, you're meeting, for example, on Saturday, and she insists that you're meeting only there. Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because she saw this restaurant on Instagram and it looked fancy, and then it is a signal that she just wants to go to that restaurant. Not out on a date with you, but just to go there and to try their food and later to discuss with her friends. So don't do that. Don't go there. Of course, if you want to meet her just to spend a nice evening, probably with continuation, like go for it. But this channel, we are talking about relationship that can lead to engagement, marriage. So we are talking about acquaintances that have potential to grow into a relationship, a healthy, lasting, meaningful relationship. So I agree with you. I would say that for many women, it will be a huge red flag if a man starts talking about his exes. For example, if the man starts telling you something like, "Oh, I have dated beautiful women before, but like you're way more beautiful than they were." For example, I have been already to Kiev and I have dated a girl from Kiev. Do you want to see the photo? And she was like 15 years younger. I would say that all comparisons, and if the lady does that when she's comparing something like telling something like, "Oh, like my ex-boyfriend was very successful, like he had could afford this, we went there, like his father did this." All these comparisons, this is a huge red flag. So if a person starts doing it on the first or second or third date, of course, it can mean that the person is just clueless and not very smart about dating, and maybe not very smart in general. But it is a signal that investments or real love and time into this person can be fruitless.
Yes, I agree with you. And in general, everything that we do, everything that we say, if for all smart people, it has the exact goal. So if we want to bring up the exact topic, we want to get this information. If we are saying that, we want to get that in return. So you have to think if you are doing this mistake and if it is a red flag that you are sending to ladies when you're talking about exes, why you're doing it, what do you want to get in return, that she will change herself to be even more beautiful for you on this first or second date. Of
She
course
will feel flattered that you have dated all those attractive women, or for example, much younger women, and now you like give her a chance to win your heart. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so why you're doing it? You have to think why you're doing it. And the same about her. If she is saying that she was dating that super successful businessman, and what she wants to get in return? To show you that she got used to exact lifestyle and she will not be ready to get something, I don't know, cheaper or something else. So you have to think why you and the person in front of you is saying the exact thing. So, of course, if you understand that it is something you would never want to hear or to say, then of course it is a red flag.
I would say that I would add to this red flag when the lady has demands, like, for example, "I go out only to this restaurant," or "To date me, you have to buy me flowers," or like, "If you want me to go out with you, you have to buy me a new dress." Like, no, you don't have to do a thing. Of course, if, for example, she's again 20 years younger and that's her price tag, like a dress or flowers, whatever, on dinner at this restaurant, you can make up your mind whether you want to pay for that dinner with her, whether it is worth it, whether you want to have this experience. But to think that she will change her mind and because I'm such a cool guy, she will go out with me without the new dress, or she will agree to go out with me to a less pricey place. No, like, don't be delusional, don't waste your time.
Yes, I agree with you that be reasonable in everything. So if a person didn't change to impress you from the beginning, so of course you will not change that. If she got used and if she wants to go there, she will want to do it.
It's not about even impressing, it's about being like a kind, polite, and well-raised human being. Katerina, I think we have time for one more or maybe two more red flags. What do you have in mind? Like a signal that you should, like big red sign that you shouldn't continue, you shouldn't pursue dating and courting this woman.
I would say that one of such red flags, I would call it like she tries to hide you. So she's hiding you, and you see that she is doing everything. You can see it in her behavior, everything that she doesn't want someone to see you together. So if you
Same
are
applies to men, ladies. If a man is not willing to parade you around, to boast with you, probably he's married.
Yeah, so he is married, or maybe she's married. Maybe she has 10 new dates every week, and every time she brings all men into this restaurant. So
She's so disgusted by you, but she wants to eat those fancy sushi with truffles. So she think that, okay, I will make sure people won't notice me with a frog like that, but I will leave this place with a full stomach.
yeah, so if you see from her actions, from everything she does, she says that she's trying to hide you, or not to show that she's with you here. She's sitting like nobody can see her, and or she's behaving. She doesn't wait you when you go, for example, out of the restaurant. She's going faster or slower on a bigger distance from you. So put attention to these signs. If you have an impression that she is hiding you, and she proves it during the date for several times, then for sure it is a red flag. And the reasons can be, like we said, she is married, she has a serious relationship, she has a boyfriend,
Hungry
or
for sushi.
yeah, so she is a gold digger. Maybe she goes on, I don't know, 10 or 20
Actually,
dates.
gold diggers are. I haven't met many, to be honest. But usually they like they shower their victim with sugar daddy with flattery, like she's touched. I have seen a woman like that at a very posh restaurant. I think 2 Michelin stars, and the lady, she was like maybe 30 top, and the guy, he must have been in his middle to late 60s, but you could tell that he was not her husband. And she kept touching him with her napkin, with her fingers. She kept kissing him, like licking her fingers seductively. It was like the whole restaurant was watching that show. And she kept like showing him, like, look at me, like touching her hair, like very provocative. Um, and the gentleman here, he was nicely dressed in expensive three-piece suit, like he had expensive watches, and the place was expensive. They were drinking expensive champagne, but you could tell by their body language that it was an early acquaintance. And he was like, at first, I would say that he felt flattered, and then a little bit he was turned off by this attention because everybody was looking at them, and he even tried to build some distance between that woman and him. Like I had a feeling that they had just met and that was their like first acquaintance.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, her behavior, it was not normal. It was strange
No,
behavior. So yes, it also can be a sign that something is wrong going here. But anyway, if she is trying to hide you, or to show people around you also that she's not with you, or you're not together here, it is also a red flag.
I agree with you for 100%. I try to think about other red flags when you start dating someone new, when you start dating a new lady. And the one that came up to my mind was like the first or second date at the shopping center. Like, let's go shopping. I know that in some cultures, like for example, I learned Chinese language for 8 years already, and like in all these textbooks, like almost every second text, people either go out or they go shopping. So they meet to go shopping for fun. They go shopping with their teachers. They go eating. I understand that in different cultures, of course, you can have different traditions. Here we are talking about Eastern European women because, well, we are from Eastern Europe and we work with this niche. I can't say that it is traditional to go shopping on the first or second or third date. No, it's not.
Yes, I agree with you. It's also it looks strange if here a lady wants to meet with you for the first time or even for the second time in the shopping center and to go shopping. It's really a red flag if we are talking about Eastern culture. Our ladies, then that's
If you're
true.
going there to play bowling, or for example, to the skating rink, but again, if it is the third or fourth date, for example, you're meeting in a small town and there the small, it's the main attraction. So all the restaurants are there, like they have cinema there. Again, it depends. If you go to that area where they have cinema, for example, skating ring or food court, that's one story. But if you're strolling through these shops and she tells you that, let's go and try a dress, I want to try this dress. Again, if she's 35 and you're 62 or 58, or for example, she's 21 and you're 40, she shows you what type of relationship she is open to have with you, she's willing to have with you, and how much it will cost you. So you will see it on the price tags of those dresses or whatever she's trying. But if we are talking about a scenario when you're meeting someone and your goal is not to be a sugar daddy, but you want to find a woman with whom you will build a relationship that will lead to marriage, the mother of your future kids, and of course, shopping on the second or third date, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. So you have to think about it when it happens. First of all,
another scenario when a man tells that, oh, let's go, I saw that shop, I want to go there. And then he said that, do you want something? Or I want to buy you something. And then a gentleman tells that, oh, she said yes, I wanted to test her and I have suggested to buy her something. And she said yes. You know, like chances were high that, first of all, she was startled by your question. And she felt she felt reluctant to say no, because it's not polite to turn down such offers. She doesn't know what to do. Like, if you're talking about differences in cultures, okay, whatever. What if I say no? What if I say yes? So don't put yourself into the situation. Don't suggest yourself things like, let's go and buy you something.
yes, I agree with you. And in general, when people try to check someone when they are doing this
So-called
check,
tests, that's such a
it's
huge turn off.
yes, for sure. So don't do it, and your attitude to people have to be positive and normal. So don't do it. Never do it with real life people.
I agree with you completely. Katerina, I believe that we have to wrap this video up because it is going quite long. I hope that our listeners will tell, and our viewers, I don't know. By the way, write in the comments below whether you actually view the videos or just listen to them. It will be very interesting to hear it. And also, I wonder, what are you doing when you listen to our videos? Are you driving in your car? Are you on the treadmill? Are you walking your dog? Are you like running around, running errands, or doing I don't know, some cleaning around your house, cooking? What do you do when you actually listen to our videos? Is there anyone who is like sitting on the table making notes? So please write in the comments below. Also, your critique or your stories, your feedback, it's always welcome. So please share some stories, maybe, or you believe that we have missed some important red flags, and there are more. I have shared different stories and different red flags in the other videos. I will share the links. But it would be nice and beneficial for other viewers to actually read your suggestions. Also, I remind you that we have podcasts, and we try with Katerina to also film interesting discussions there. Please write in the comments below if you actually listen to our podcast. Also, you can subscribe not to our channel, of course. I hope you have done that already. If you haven't, please do it right now. Don't forget to press like, and also you can support our channel by becoming a sponsor. And by doing it, you will get access to extra videos that we'll film specially for our dear sponsors. So you can press the link below this video to become either Diolli friend or Diolli lover or Diolli family. I want to say a special thank you to all our sponsors. This is the heart especially for you. Thank you for inspiring us to create content for you. We do it with love.
Mm-hmm.
Katerina, do you want to add something?
I want to add that I hope that all your dates, everyone whom you meet, these people will be serious. You will not find any red flags that we have discussed today. Or if you see them, I hope that this video will help you to see them in the right moment. And of course, we want to wish you only love.
We wish you lots of love, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.